Hey everybody, I've got Stacy back with me. So glad you're back. We want to bring up to you what we've talked about earlier, and it was about digital dollars and how your social credit score is going to be part of that one day. But right now, there's 12 banks.
Yeah, well, there's 12 banks. They're launching a digital dollar test. And before we go any further,
Now, there's about a dozen banks, and it's a test that's going to last 12 weeks long.
yeah, it is. But before we go any further, I gotta say it. We got a good one for you today. I'm sorry, I just have to say that because we just came back from hanging out with Dan.
Dan's always got a good one for us, and
And
it's hard
so-
not to say that.
I know. I got used to saying that we were hanging out with him. But yeah, on a serious note, they have just come out, yesterday? And they have come out with they're calling it, Here Comes the Programmable Dollar. 12 banking giants are launching a digital dollar test.
And we're going to go through the pros, how good that's going to be, and what it's going to do for our lives.
And there's a lot of good things.
Sure, yeah. There's a little bit of good and rat poison, And we're going to talk about the cons. And
So before we go any further,
yeah, let's read the story first.
Yeah, so it's a lot of these big banks that are, everybody knows them. It's Citigroup, MasterCard, Wells Fargo, the Federal Bank in New York. It's Trust Financial, U.S. Bancorp. All these banks are going to do a 12-week pilot program, and they're going to come out at the end of these 12 weeks, and they're going to give what they think worked, what it didn't work, but they're saying programmable.
And we're going to be talking about that as soon as they come out with what they think about it. We're going to do a story on that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and see what the results are. It said they may be necessary to support new business models and provide a foundation to much-needed innovations in financial systems and settlements and infrastructure. So they're saying we're so behind the times of how that we do business, and we'll get into that a little bit more, that we're going to have to come up with something else. They're saying projects like this that focus on the digitization. Here I go, I can't pronounce words. Of central bank money and individual bank deposits could be expanded.
I wrote something right there. This is a quote from them.
Yep,
Projects like this that focus on the digitization of central bank money and individual banking deposits could be expanded to take a broader view of the opportunity. Now, they say stuff where you can't understand it all the time. But what does that mean? It could be expanded to take a broader view of the opportunity.
Well, at the very top up here, it says, never let a crisis go to waste or a market
We'll get
crash.
into what that opportunity could be in a minute.
So, yeah, I think they are. I think they're doing that. But anyway, that's pretty much it. They're going to come out after 12 weeks, and they're going to extend it to other multicultural currency operations and all this kind of stuff. So we're just going to have to watch.
So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on what they say because we pretty much understand what it's going to be because China has been practicing this. And,
India has also been coming out with one.
How long did it take the bat flu to get from there to here? It's on the way. It's in the mail. Yep. And we're going to talk about some of the pros first. I've got a long list of pros, actually. And we'll talk about the cons along the way. Maybe we'll save some towards the end.
Well, so for people ask all the time, what is a CBDC? So I actually looked up the definition that they have on the website it's the IMF. They're the ones that came up with this definition. And, quote, a central bank digital currency, CBDC, is purely a digital form of a country's money issued by its central bank that people can use like cash.
Okay.
So that is, because everybody asks, they're like, what is the actual definition? And that is by the IMF.
It's pure digital money.
That's it. By that,
I hate calling it money. It's pure digital currency.
So
there's only one money.
So let's talk about some pros.
Okay. The pros are obvious. It's going to be fast. That is, we're living in a digital world. And I agree, things need to be faster. Our payment system is awful, and wire transfer is all clunky. It would really be nice to somebody to pay me.
Right.
Here's my address. They put it in their phone. They send me the money, and that's the end of it. Now,
well, there are a few ways that we do that now. Venmo, a few things. They're pretty fast. But if you use like a debit card, a credit card, anything like that,
there's also fees, right?
There's fees. But it takes like 3 days. So I looked at some stats, and it takes approximately 3 days minimum if you do a debit card, a credit card, anything like that, to go through the process, all the fees that are paid, and then turn around and the merchant gets paid or whatever. And so it's about 3 days. So they're going to take all that away. And supposedly the fees, too.
Well, we're still going to have credit cards, too, though. We're still going to
That's
have
a good
credit.
question.
I think we're still going to have credit. This is just digital dollars. You're going to have all these other things that are going to give people credit because this whole place
So how would you
built
pay
on
those
debt.
credit cards then? Just through your digital wallet? You would just
Sure,
immediately
the
transfer
same way you're going to
funds?
buy gold and silver and food and anything else.
Okay.
You're going to be able to swap your digital currency for whatever. I'll go straight to the cons right now. The cons are they're going to know about it. If
They
you
are.
pay, well, when you pay for something at a garage sale via digital dollars, you will pay a tax on it. They'll know what it was, and maybe there'll be a ways around it. I'm not really sure. Maybe you can gift that person the money. I don't we don't know. We're speculating a bit, but we are not speculating on if it's coming or not because
That's correct.
it is in the mail. Make no mistake about it. This is not some kind of conspiracy theory. This is something we've been talking about for a year. And now we're doing test runs on the largest,
Right.
with the largest banks, and
Yeah.
we'll know exactly what they think about it in 12 weeks, or what they want us to know anyway.
Yeah, they
So-
did come out and say though it would eliminate a lot of those transaction fees. So that would be something that would be good for us because then those fees generally get passed on to the consumer.
Okay.
So that would be a pro.
All right, that's a pro. Here's another pro. You'll be able to get your STEMI quick, fast, and in a hurry. They'll be able to control the velocity of money by issuing STEMI checks fast. You won't have to wait on snail mail. You won't have to wait on any of that. They could wake up one day and say, hey, the economy's kind of slow. Give everybody $500, and it would show up like that, and you'd be able to spend it. Now, here's kind of a con. You would have to buy what they deem that is good. It could be a STEMI for this one thing. It could be a STEMI
time
for
frame.
or yeah. You have to spend it within 30 days or maybe 5 days, depending on what they say. We don't know, but that is absolutely on the table. You can get your STEMI quick, fast, in a hurry, and that in turn will manage and be able to slow down or speed up the velocity of money, and that's how they'll be able to control inflation.
Okay. So paused if you don't mind a second
No.
on that. So while you're talking about that you get STEMI checks, because when we were talking to the tax people about what do you get, you had to provide all your banking information. It took forever. Then maybe you could get something. I was talking to these people and it took forever for them to get it. So that is also for all these people that don't have banks. There's a lot of people that don't have banks that could not get these stimulus checks. They either had to get a credit card or a debit card or something like that was issued to them. This will allow for people that don't have banks. They automatically issue them a bank, from what I'm understanding based on my research.
8.4 million people are unbanked, and it will help them.
That's what they're saying. So that's a pro for the unbanked people. We've known people that have not had bank accounts, and they could not get different things from the government. So there you go. There's another pro. But like you said, the cons are that they will be able to track everything that you purchase.
Pretty
and
much,
tell
you can sum up all the cons as control.
privacy.
Yeah, you won't be able to purchase anything without them knowing about it, and you won't be able to hide money. You won't be able to currency. You won't be able to, and even give your kids some lunch money. I don't know how that's going to work just yet, but it's going to be interesting seeing this thing roll out. Okay, here's another pro. It's clean and disease-free. I think this is going to be touted a bunch. I'm good with it. That's cool to a certain extent. Your money hasn't been through the strip club or through a drug deal or something like that. And that's kind of cool. The problem is the whole thing's not going to work out for anybody. But that is a good thing. That is one good thing about it.
I think it's going to be presented as a good thing, whether you think it's a good thing or not, but that's going to be presented. And also it was the whole big thing when the hit the whatever back a year and a half, 2 years ago. They said they didn't want you to pass money because you could possibly pass germs and stuff like that.
Sure.
So there's another thing. They're going to say, hey, this is going to help the climate. We're going to have clean money. So yeah, I could see that. They
It's
would say
bat
that's a
flu
pro.
free.
Yeah, there you go. Disease free.
But like everybody's going to have 5 jabs in Australia.
Oh, babe, don't say that word. You're going to get us on another
Well,
strike.
they can't understand redneck, I hope. They're going to be medicined up. Is that good?
There you
So
go.
anyway,
All
we'll talk
right.
about that in the next video.
Yeah. So, and then another thing, they're saying that it's going to be super easy to help, so it goes straight to these, to you, it has to bypass the local banks. They said, so that obviously makes it easier. And also with the interest rates, they're saying that they're looking at possibly, instead of telling the local banks interest rates, that it's going straight to your wallet. your wallet will tell you what kind of interest rate, because they say sometimes that when it trickles down to the local banks, trade back and forth, and then it comes down to your mortgage. Sometimes it's not what it started maybe up here, than what you could have gotten or whatever. So that is a pro.
Yeah,
like that
it's a real pro for these big banks. They'll be able to do that overnight funding each other within a split second. It'll be really good for them, I'm sure, or they wouldn't be doing it. Eventually, I think it will lead to not having local banks at all.
I wondered about that. So they said at first they're going to have the local banks to help them, because there's just no way overnight that they can just take on all these people calling, say, where's my password, or my wallet's not working correctly. So they said they would have to have the local banks. But I can see them phasing them out.
But that's still not a physical thing. You have to actually go to the local bank. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can do that over the phone, via internet. You can still call them a bank, but as far as a physical local bank,
I see what you're saying.
I think they're on the cut list. I would think it's really going to cut a lot of jobs, actually.
Speaking of another job, it's going to cut the people that deliver the cash. All these like Wells Fargo's and the Brinks or whatever the trucks are that deliver all those jobs, and I'm assuming would just go away if we weren't going to do cash anymore.
The money printer won't go burr anymore.
No, it won't. And of another con, speaking of a con, everything on this is related to the internet. So the internet goes down, and like we've talked before, your money is gone. There's no getting your CBDC.
Wait, it's backed up on the blockchain.
But that's still internet.
Yeah, but it's still backed up, meaning if there's one computer left, which there probably will be more than likely,
not the internet.
It will regenerate all the transactions when we get everything back online. That's the theory.
That's the theory. But realistically speaking, if the internet completely goes down, say in the whole entire U.S., you're done.
You might be able to argue that at this moment, too. If the internet goes down, there's going to be a lot of people that lose a lot of money.
So what you're saying is if internet went down just to maybe say our local region, it would still populate in other areas and you still could...
No, if the internet went down all across the United States and there was one computer left...
Oh, I understand the blockchain theory.
It would start regenerating
I understand
all the transactions that have made it. It'd take a while, but that's the...
that. But what I'm saying is you would not be able to get access to your CBDC until the internet came back up.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Very likely. That's why you need physical precious metals. But where are you going to spend the precious metals? I know I'm going to get this in the comments.
Well, give me a call, and I'll help you find some stuff that you might help you in lower denominations.
Right. This isn't the end-all, be-all. We're still going to do transactions outside of this thing. I plan on it anyway. And you're still going to be able to buy fine art. You're still going to be able to buy, several different ways to hedge against inflation and stuff like that. It's going to be denominated in this and other things. This isn't the only thing that's going to be around.
I'll be curious to see. I don't know. I mean, the Bank of the Bahamas right now just did the first digital dollar, and they called it Sand Dollars. Interesting name.
Yeah,
they just did it back in 2020, I think they said. But here's another pro. So think about the people that have to drive an hour to their bank. I had a guy call me the other day, and he was trying to get some funds out. He had to drive an hour to his bank. They wouldn't let him get all his funds out, so he had to stay overnight. Well, it was actually more than an hour. Stay overnight in a hotel, visit the bank again the next morning, and then drive back. It was over an hour, he said.
Yeah, but why would he stay the night?
I don't know. That's what he said, because he had to wait the next morning, so he said instead of driving back. And then I had someone the other day that had to go across the state lines to get what they needed for their banking and stuff. So all these people that don't have access to their banks, if you've got your wallet, you've got internet, there you go. There's another pro. So there's a lot of good pros. Just the bad portion is it's going to take away your privacy. I want to read something real quick. Do you mind?
No, go ahead.
Edward Snowden. Talk about privacy.
Go ahead.
Edward Snowden made a really good quote, and I want to hear your quote too that you'd read to me earlier. Privacy isn't about something to hide. Privacy is about something to protect. So when people say to me, quote, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear, I say back arguing that you don't care about privacy, because if you have nothing to hide, it's like arguing that you don't care about free speech because you have nothing to say. And I think that's what it is. It's not that we have something to hide. It's about protecting our privacy.
Yeah, and the quote I was going to cite was, most everybody here has heard it, but it's from Benjamin Franklin. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety.
That's true.
But there's one other thing I want to talk about, and that's about there will be no need to carry a physical wallet. People will be less likely to rob you.
True, because you even have your IDs now, your driver's license
Everything
on it. So now if you have your wallet from the bank,
Yeah, and more than likely, your credit cards will be an app on your phone that will, that you'll just pay with your digital currency. It'll be just like now, except it'll be more convenient and the most trackable thing that we've ever dealt with. And one day it'll probably be in your forehead or your right hand. Not mine. That's really about all I got.
Yeah, one more thing is we were talking
I want
to
link it to China, though.
One more thing. Yeah, this is a perfect segue into it because we're talking about the ESG. They're going to probably, maybe, we don't know, but control your funds based on your ESG. And we have actually had people call us since we did that video here the other day that they've gone to their local banks and asked them specifically. These are smaller banks. These aren't Bank of America, Chase, those banks. These are smaller credit union local banks. They are already putting into place using this ESG credit, the score, to give commercial loans. They are already doing that based on your carbon footprint, different things like that. So you guys, this is actually happening. This isn't something that it's a conspiracy theory.
And I've had people in the comments say, what's the big deal? Why not have a social credit score? We'll be able to weed out who's good and who's bad. Well, who decides that? That's the whole problem. That's all in a nutshell. If the evil are deciding who's good, then that's bad. You understand? So we can talk a little bit about China. I've covered this a lot. That's why I kept it for the end of the video, but it's very important to understand this is going on now, and I'm just going to kind of run through some things. China has about 42 systems, separate systems, in different regions with cameras, mics, just watching everything with facial recognition. If you jaywalk, you get a strike on your credit score. If you are doing, if you're not paying your bills on time, if you're doing stuff that they don't like.
Yeah. They even publicly shame you. They'll put up billboards shaming you. And
big screens. You won't be able to date. If you're doing things that they don't like. Now, remember, the people that are in charge are not always the best. Maybe you think so. I personally don't. But that's the people that are going to decide whether what you're doing is good or not. What you consume. Maybe it's alcohol. Okay, you might say, well, that's good. Nobody needs to consume alcohol. Well, nobody gets to tell you that. That's between you and God.
Yep.
So.
Or what if they say sodas? A lot of people for a while saying no sodas.
Yeah, and you can argue that sodas are worse than alcohol.
Yep.
I mean,
but
that's up to you. You know what I mean? In this dating app, I didn't know it was already here, the Sesame Credit. Have you heard of that?
We were talking about that the other day.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to date certain people unless they have a decent credit score. If your social credit scores don't line up with each other, then you're not going to be matched up on these dating apps. It is wild when you really start looking into it. Caught cheating at gaming was one of them. Being late to a meeting, traffic violations. That's some things that Big Brother's going to strike you down on. But if you are doing good, there's some things like free gym memberships, cheap public transportation, shorter wait time at hospitals. That is really wild.
We talked about that because we were talking about how that could actually be life and death. So if your credit score is not good enough and you walk in,
I don't care if he dies, his leg's chopped off. Well, his social credit score is not that good, so he's not a good person. We'll put him on the back.
That's scary.
Maybe by then we'll be doing forced organ harvesting like China does. Make no mistake about it, that's going on right now. So that's just a few things that we have to look at, hopefully not look forward at. But just know that the digital currency is the most authoritative thing that has ever been tried on the planet. I mean, it is really the end-all be-all of authoritarianism, and we really need to fight back somehow or another. In my opinion, physical metals is the best way. Cryptos, most everybody doesn't care for cryptos on this channel, I would argue. I do. I think they're pretty cool. I think they're worth looking at.
I'm eating crow. I'm actually getting on board. I was not a fan of crypto, and after reading so much of this in the last couple months, I even told him the other day, I said, I think we need to take some money and buy some more of it, and I would have never said that a year ago.
Well, in the beginning, crypto was supposed to be away from this, what we're talking about.
Right.
And we really need this to fail. I mean, we really need sound money. I hope it's gold and silver, but I don't care if it's Bitcoin either. We need sound money that's untrackable. That's the problem. Bitcoin is trackable. Everybody that says Bitcoin's not is not paying attention. I mean, look at the drug dealers and thieves that have been using it, and they found out who they stole it, and they found out exactly where they were. You know, or where it happened.
Right.
That, but this is the strange world we're coming into, and I want to make sure you guys know about it. As soon as they come out with the 12-week results, we're going to make a video about it. But until then, have an awesome, awesome day. Thank you for coming on with me, Stacy.
It's good to see everybody.
Later.